Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the previous class, if you people remind, we were discussing about liquidity ratios. I told you there are two liquidity ratios. One is called current ratio, and we discussed about that current ratio is basically current assets divided by current liabilities. The second ratio that we are going to discuss, that is called asset test ratio, or we also called it quick ratio. Why we call it quick ratio? It is the same, but just one item. See, current assets divided by current liability. Just one item is deducted from current assets, that is inventory. Now in the previous class about current assets we didn't discuss that much. In current assets a lot of things are coming. This one, the first one is cash. We already studied these things. Then there is account receivable, note receivable. So I am writing shortly account receivable, and inventory, and other prepayments, means advance payments. But the biggest one, these are current assets, consist of these three main items. In this, cash is the most liquid asset, then account receivable 1 month time, 2 months time, so it is also liquid too much, because within 1-2 months it will be converted to cash. But inventory, it is an item that took time in selling. You will sell it, then you will convert it to cash. So it took time. So that's why we are deducting this inventory from current assets, because it is not that much liquid. Just a minute. In current liabilities, account payable, note payable, and other short-term liabilities. Account payable, note payable, and other short-term liabilities, these are them. So these are the items, the main items in the current assets, but these two are quickly converted to cash and account receivable. But inventory, it took time. You will sell one item and you will convert it to cash. So it took too much time. So what are we doing? In our formula, from current assets, we are deducting this inventory. See the definition. Shows a firm's ability to meet current liabilities with its most liquid assets. So most liquid inventory is not that much liquid. So that's why we are deducting inventory from our current assets, because we are taking most liquid assets. So that's why inventory is deducted. So asset test or quick ratio, that's why it is called quick ratio, because we are using our most liquid assets. That with our most liquid assets can we pay our liabilities quickly, on time, or not. So now see the formula: current assets minus inventory divided by current liability. Our current assets, it is 1195 from the previous class, we already studied, minus inventory, it is 696, and current liabilities, it is 500. From where you got this 696? Look at the balance sheet. This is inventory. These are current assets. Out of current assets, we deduct the inventory. And the other item, that is current liabilities, 500. So we took these three items. Current assets, this one, minus inventory divided by current liabilities. So we got 1. What is the meaning of 1? See, quick ratio or acid test ratio is equal to current assets. From current assets we are deducting inventory, I am writing shortly, divided by current liabilities. Our current assets 1195 minus inventory, it was 696 divided by 500. Check it again, 1195 minus 696 divided by 500. So the ratio that we are getting, it is 1.00. What does it mean? Basically here is 1, but we are not taking it. If your current liabilities are $1, you have $1 in your quick assets, means you have cash and you have account receivable that you can pay your liability. $1 liability, so you have $1 assets. See, this is quick assets. So you have $1 assets to repay $1 liability. The standard is also 1. If it is 1, it is good. But below 1, it is not good. Now, check. Asset test ratio, year 2003, 2002, 2001. In 2001, it was 1.11. In 2002, it comes down to 1.04. In 2003, again it comes down from 1.04 to 1. So it is continuously coming down. This is internal comparison. Today's performance, past 2 years. Now compare your performance with industry. So see, 1 and 1.25, we are below industry. 1.04, 1.23, we were below industry in 2002. In 2001, 1.11 and 1.25, we were below industry. So ratio is weaker than the industry average, means our ratio, it is below the industry average from the past 3 years. But if you will look at one point, our current ratio, it is above the industry average. See, 2.39, 2.26. We are above the industry. Our ratio is better than their industry, the whole industry. But here, now our ratio is below the industry average. So ratio is weaker than the industry average. Summary of the liquidity ratio comparisons. Current ratio, current, and then asset test. Current ratio is 2.39, industry is 2.15. Asset test ratio is 1, industry is 1.25. In current we are above, in quick we are below. Strong current ratio and weak acid test ratio indicates a potential problem in the inventories account. Why our current ratio is above the industry average and why our quick ratio is below the industry? This is because of the inventory. We have too much inventory. Here in current ratio, inventory was hidden, we didn't deduct it. But here it is now open, we deduct it, then after that we calculate our debt paying ability, so we are below the industry average. So strong current ratio and weak asset test ratio indicates a potential problem in the inventories account. This shows that our current ratio is stronger than the industry, but our asset test ratio, it is below the industry. So it is indicating a problem in the inventories account, that there is a problem in the inventory account. Means the company is not selling the inventory properly, means their sales department, the performance of the sales department or the marketing department, it is not good. Note that this industry has a relatively high level of inventory. In this industry in which we are doing our analysis, the inventory levels are relatively high. But as compared to industry, our performance is poor. Our performance is weak. See here, trend analysis of current ratio. Our current ratio previously it was below, it was at 1.9, but now it goes up to 2.3, and this is industry. So our ratio is above. See this color, this is Basket Wonders color, and this is industry. Industry line is a red one, and Basket Wonders it is this one, blue one. So blue one, it is above the industry. And these are years. See, in 2001 it was 1.9, but in 2003 here it is 2.36, this one 2.3. So this is the trend analysis comparison, means diagrammatic or graphical presentation of this current ratio. This is asset test ratio analysis or comparison. See, this is industry. Industry is above. In 2001 it was 1.3, and now it was what, 1 point something, 1.25. 1.25. It is also coming down, but it is above our industry. So see here, ours, it was in the start, it was 1.2. In 2001 it was 1.11, but now it comes down, further down to 1. See this one, this one, now it is on 1. So we are below industry. The current ratio for Basket Wonder has been rising, at the same time the asset test ratio has been declining. Now look at this. The current ratio, it is rising, it is increasing. But the quick ratio, it is coming down. It was 1.11, now it comes down to 1. The current ratio for the industry has been rising slowly at the same time. The asset test ratio has been relatively stable. The industry, their current ratio, it is also rising, but the asset test ratio, it is stable. But our current quick ratio, our asset test ratio, it is coming down. This indicates that inventories are significant problem for Basket wonders. So this thing indicates that there is a problem in the inventories. Our sales department, our you can say the marketing department, their performance, it is not good. Means we are keeping too much industry, so they are not making too much efforts for selling the inventory. The second types of ratio, these are financial leverage ratios. Financial leverage ratios shows the extent to which the firm is financed by debt. Leverage basically means the use of debt financing. Keep in mind one thing, you already studied balance sheet. Assets is equal to liability plus capital or owner's equity. Now see, the assets of the business, it is equal to liability plus capital. Suppose our assets are $100,000, total assets. Our liabilities are 20,000 and our capital it is 80,000. So see, this thing is showing that what are our liabilities? 20,000. So means this business is using 20% leverage, the use of debt financing. Means in their total business, 20% is basically their liabilities. 80% it is the owner's money, but the remaining 20% it is leverage. Means they use debt, us. They use what? दस लिखी पता न लगी कसम गई. They use leverage. They use debt. So these leverage ratios, these are also showing the extent to which the firm is financed by debt. In this, our first ratio, it is debt to equity. Debt to equity shows what the extent to which the firm is financed by debt. We are studying leverage ratios, and I told you leverage means the use of debt financing. So in debt to equity ratios, that is the first in the financial leverage ratio. It is also a balance sheet ratio, financial leverage ratios. So debt to equity ratio shows the extent to which the firm is financed by debt. Means in our total financing of 100,000, what is the percentage of debt? So now here, debt to equity is equal to total debt divided by shareholders' equity. The total debt of the firm, it is 1,030, and the total equity, it is 1,139. Look at this. Go back to balance sheet. See, this is current liability, this is long-term liability. So total become 5 and 5, 1,030. And shareholders equity, see, shareholders equity, this is our total shareholders equity, 1,139. So 1030 divided by 1139. See this? 1030 is our total debt and total equity is 1139. So we got 0.90. What does it mean? Debt to equity ratio. I am writing shortly. Is equal to total debt divided by total equity. Total debt was 1030 and total equity, it was equal to 1195. So we got 0.90. What does it mean? If your total equity, see this is below this equity. If your equity is $1, your debt it is 0.90. If your total assets it is equal to 1.90, out of this 1.90, $1 it is equity and $0.90 this is basically debt. So see the comparison. In 2001 it was 0.81. In 2002 it is 0.88, means our debt is increasing. And in 2003 it is 0.90. So means the debts of this basket wonder, it is increasing from the past 3 years. And see the industry 0.89, 0.90, 0.90, it is stable. So our debts level and the industry debt level it is the same. Debt to equity level it is the same. Basket Wonder has average debt utilization relative to the industry average, means our debt utilization and industry debt utilization it is equal. It is equal. So in the next class then we will talk about this, that debt is good or debt is bad. This thing is good, that our debt is increasing or not. So inshallah in the next class then we will discuss about this. Okay, have a good time. Assalamu alaikum.